Welcome to Louisiana Heartbeats. I'm Sudie Landry, and today I have with me Dr. Phil D. Myers. He's come in today to share not just one book, but many books that he has just recently put in ebook form, and they are available, and they have so many different topics, so many different twists. I mean, we have I think I counted 12 for sure, but we're going to talk mainly about the beginning. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sudie.
Dr. Phil, I have Dr. Phil on my show. Don't you love it when someone says that?
Thank you so much for having me, Sudie.
Actually, I'm very, very grateful. I look forward to working with you because Acadiana, I'm used to having authors on my show, and they're all fantastic, but I have never had one that decided that they were going to share their books with me, not just one, but 12, and I want to say 13 coming up, I believe. And so I'm looking forward to being able to use the big mouth and put the word out there about these Grateful Tummy books. Now, Phil D. Myers is a retired periodontist. He has had many, many jobs that led up to his career that you're recently retired from. And Phil has a lot of interest. And now I understand, after reading his bio, why you can crank these books out with so many different topics and ideas, and you have a special twist of a personality. He didn't talk hardly at all. I had to almost force him to talk, but when he decided to talk, you had a lot to say, Dr. Phil.
Thank you, Sudie.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, and we want to get with it because 26 minutes really passes really fast.
Okay.
And due to the Writing School of Acadiana, where we meet once a month, the last Tuesday of every month at Barnes & Noble here in Lafayette, Phil is just one of the many people who's come out there. And so now, because of his being active with us, then doors opening up for Phil to go and share with other people his journey of taking his books and putting them in ebook, which seems to be the biggest thing going right now. People are just so, and also because of the fact that the ebooks, you know, I like a hard copy, but I'm going to go for whatever's out there. And if I know an author, if you want to go and just read that book real fast, then the ebook's the way to go, you know. So, Phil, with that being said, let's just get right into it and talk about telling people who you are.
Okay.
Okay. From what I understand, you are originally from where?
Lafayette.
Lafayette, born.
Born and raised in Lafayette.
And you attended several colleges, too, to get all the training that you got, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And where was that?
Colleges, I went to LSU, then I went to USL, and then I went to
The dental specialist?
Loyola Dental School, and then I went to the University of Nebraska.
Which happened to be what? It was, that was where it led you to being part of the missionary?
Yeah, well, that did. When I became a periodontist, which is a dental specialty, and
Right.
and I practiced initially practiced in Shreveport, and I'd practiced general dentistry for 5 years.
That's what I was going to say.
Here in Lafayette before I went and got my specialty degree. But anyway, the Shreveport just happens to be in the middle of the Bible Belt. Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, I love Shreveport. I met a lot of wonderful people, and for over 20 years, I went on mission. We went and did missionary work in medical teams in southern Mexico with the Mexican Indian Training Mission out of Shreveport.
Okay, the reason I brought that up also, too, is the fact that Acadiana, I mean, he's been down many, many paths, but he ended up in Lafayette, and we're grateful. I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, are you?
Yay!
Well, good for you.
So I know that there's a lot of people amazed lately. I'm meeting that is from Shreveport, Louisiana, and it's a totally different world here, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's wonderful.
I know. Both worlds are good.
I love both places.
But it's amazing how culture can be so different from just a few hours away.
Absolutely.
And I love it. I fell in love with Acadiana. Okay, so you grew up in Lafayette, but also, too, we mentioned that, I mean, I talked to you prior a little bit about you. You have so many interests. I mean, my goodness, according to this, of course I know, you have passion for writing. You enjoy fishing, cooking, good music. and spending quality time with your family and friends.
Absolutely.
Now, when you were a young boy, and I mentioned to you that I kind of wanted to glance through that, he's a hard worker. You've been a very hard worker ever since you were young, and anything that you did it very well. I mean, and then you gradually come from, what is it, your first job, you call yourself the garbage boy.
Yep.
Then you had a second job, you called yourself the lawnmower boy.
Yep.
And then you called yourself the Club Scouts. You helped a few old ladies cross the street. Then you were shoe shine boy.
Yep.
And your father was in the restaurant business, and so he had a magazine shop. So there, you loved it. You said being out there, and you were good at it.
Absolutely.
And you said you were good at it. And you said that you also used to be a peanut salesman boy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then of course, you know, you never really got to watch the games, but you didn't really like that. But when the weather got colder, you had made this is where some of your personality's coming out, that you promoted selling the hot chocolate, and you loved being a hot chocolate salesman boy. Then you got fired for spilling it on some very unfriendly or annoyed, or somebody said, what was it, very unfriendly home team fans.
Yep.
Okay, suddenly you were unemployed. You were an unemployed hot chocolate salesman boy with a small chance of ever getting your job back. Now, right there, Phil, is where I see your personality coming out that ended up in some of these books. And so anyway, you learned to mop floors and you never complained. That's the whole point. I'm making a Acadiana. He's had many, many jobs. Then he's gone to college, and then he's baked bread. He's gone to the special school to learn how to make the bread. And then you, of course, you worked with some wonderful people in this area in the dental profession. You just pretty well been all over the place. And now you're retired, correct?
Right.
And you are now focusing on your books.
Right. Now I'm an author. Okay.
Now you are a full-time author.
Which I dearly love.
And you love.
I love it.
And that's good, because it's a season where you've got the time and
That's
you
right.
are able to do this. But sir, with all the books, people that scattered across in front of me, you didn't just start writing today.
No, I started writing a long time ago.
And in between all your jobs that you had in your profession, before you retired, you cranked out these books.
Right.
Which was the last book? What was the first book that you published?
The first book, this is the first book I published. It's Give Us This Day Our Daily Bread. You want me to tell you?
Sure, want to tell a little story about
Sure.
that?
That book, I was practicing dentistry, and I decided to take a little hiatus and go to Clark College in Vancouver, Washington. I wanted to open a restaurant, so went to baking school under a wonderful, wonderful baker. I mean, he was unbelievable, and just that was one of the funniest experiences I've ever had in my life. Stayed up there and met a lot of people, and I loved it. And then I had a lot in Shreveport. I was going to open a restaurant, and when I got out of the baking school, I came about this close to opening the restaurant, but I couldn't get enough money to do it right. So I didn't do it, and I was disappointed, but I mean not overwhelmed. But anyway, at night, when I go to bed at night, I get on my knees and thank God for the day, and I always ask God to be in His will.
That's right.
And when I said to myself, why did I go to baking school? I mean, why did I go to baking school? Anyway, I went to sleep. In the middle of the night, I had a dream about a baking book, which this is right here. And I dreamed I had a loose leaf a tablet where I opened it up, and I had the title of the book, Give Us This Day Our Daily Bread, and I pictured the cover of the book, and then I open up each page, and I laid out the book perfectly, and I've never written a book in my life. When I went to, I'll back up for a second. When I was young, I had two big brothers, two sisters and two big brothers, and my big brothers told me that if I liked English, I was a sissy.
Huh.
Oh yeah, I'll never forget it. So anyway,
What?
it's like putting nails in the English department for me. So anyway, this, I don't know how I ever wrote it because I have a very poor I don't know how I went to 10 years of college. I have a very poor background in English, you know.
Yeah.
And I also, my spelling's not good, and my handwriting is horrible. But I guess that fits in with being a doctor.
Yes,
but
it does.
That part worked out. But anyway, so I laid out the book, wrote the book, and got some kids together. It's about kids baking bread. That's why I went to baking school. So anyway, that's the reason right there. And this is the book's based on scripture.
Right.
And one of the things that I wanted to do from the missionary work was I wanted to reach out right now, and I'll say this, okay, and right now in Catholics and non-Catholics, for some reason, don't like each other, okay? It's pitiful. It's absolutely pitiful.
Doctrine gets in the way.
Yeah, we're all Christians, but
Right.
anyway, but I guess that doesn't matter. Anyway, that's not politically correct. So anyway, so what I did was I wanted to reach out to, in which I did, Spanish, Black, and Caucasian, white. So that's what I have throughout my book. And so the kids, I have a couple of Spanish kids, a couple of Black kids, and a couple of white kids baking bread. And that was my beginning of writing.
Okay, and since we have so many other things to cover, I want to make a comment. It's a step-by-step guide to baking bread. But also, Katiana, this is an author of children books. That's something we need to also share, as you can see with the illustration at the top. And so this one is using scripture, as he said, that's in the Bible, and is talking about, give us this day our daily bread. And so children get the comfort of actually doing and baking and getting the meaning behind each thing. Okay, now, so that was the first book that you did. Let's talk about the one that seems to be really jumping out and people are using it. And it's called, what is it? Hooray, today is your lucky day. How to successfully create your very own dream book by Dr. Phil D. Myers. So, what was the reason for writing this book?
I'll tell you exactly the reason. I loved coffee. When I was a young kid, my mother would tell me when she was cooking, which she was an excellent cook, of course, but anyway, when she was cooking, she always told me, she said, you have to have coffee when you're cooking because coffee gives you courage.
Wow.
That's exactly what she said. So I have to have coffee when I'm writing because coffee gives me courage to write. So anyway,
I like that.
So this book here is a great little book because what I do my best writing, believe it or not, at Starbucks and CC's both. But anyway, but I do my best writing there when
because there's coffee.
Inevitably, when I'm writing, I'll be sitting there on my computer. Now I'm horrible on my computer. Anyway, I have a hard time typing.
We learning.
Anyway, I write and type and do whatever I've got to do, and people always come up to me because I am a very friendly person. Okay, so they come up to me and they ask me what are you doing? I said, well, I'm writing books. I said, I'm an author. I love the author part because I'll tell you a little bit about that too. Okay, before I back up for a second. All of my books, I have Dr. Phil D. Myers. Okay, Dr. Phil D. Myers. When I was actually practicing, I didn't like for people to call me a doctor. I wanted just to call me Phil. So anyway, but all of my friends have told me that you got to use the doctor part because it makes you look like you're important, which of course they all know that I'm not. Okay, but anyway, so I started using the doctor parts on my book to impress people, and I hope that y'all are impressed. Okay, but anyway, so with this book here, when I'm writing, people come up to me and ask me, and they always ask me this. Well, I've always wanted to write a book. Now this is the lady right here. That's the president of our writing club. So she hears this all the time, I'm sure.
I love it.
But I never heard it. So anyway, so they tell me that, and so I love people, and I love to help people, and I especially love to write, to help other writers.
I love it.
I mean, I just love it. So it's my passion. Writing's my passion. So anyway, so what I tell them is, well, let me show you. So I get a piece of paper and write out what to do to make it simple. So this little book right here, How to Successfully Create Your Very Own Dream Book, is really important because what it does is it literally tells you how to write a book. Now, you can get writing books, they'll be this thick on how to write a book. I've never had any training in writing, and like I said, my English is horrible, but I do read a lot. But anyway, so this book, it's unbelievable. It's very well written and not real serious, but it tells you how to not only write, but how to accomplish any goal that you have to do.
Well, this gentleman gave me all these books, and I read them all. And I can tell you right now, though, this book is simplified, takes all the complication out of everything. It encourages you when you get to a certain step, just keep on moving. But he had one person that had said, you hear this, I had always dreamed of writing a book, but never quite got it or got to it. Then after reading this book, extremely important little book, that this person was so inspired that they got a pencil and paper and started writing. That's what this is. It only takes a little bit of encouragement to encourage somebody, and it may not be a huge book, but if you got a story inside of you, somebody's going to benefit from that story if you can just get it out. Now, how to create your very own dream book. And you called it, Today's the Day. Create your very own dream book. So if you have a dream of getting published, then you just pick that piece of paper up and you start writing. Sooner or later, it's going to all fall into place. And that come from somebody who was a special education facilitator. So that's impressive right there. Now, as we were saying, you got on the back of this book, there's this pelican. Of course, this story has a picture of another one of his characters. Attitude is everything. And this little pelican is laying in a pea road, just relaxing. Okay, so that is an important little book. Now, because time passes so fast, Dr. Phil.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we have Bird Brains Unlimited. Now, he takes a play on words and sometimes creates a whole story. And one example was, in every sentence, the N word, I-N, inconsiderate. He went all the way through instantly, but I told him, I said, I wanted him to read his story of, the kids would love this, snot. Yes, you got it right, S-N-O-T. So,
You want me to read?
being that you have that wonderful
yeah,
voice,
it's
let's go ahead and get this story in there.
It's great. That's a great little story. Okay, it's called Snot. Okay, would you pardon me a second, please? I think that I've got to sneeze, I mumbled. Please be quiet, he snapped. I can't concentrate. Your constant sneezing I really hate. Can't you see the sign that says quiet, please? Which certainly pertains to your resounding sneeze. Well, I really don't know what to do. It seems I'm always going, I chew. Look, I really don't want to be unkind, but I think your problems are in your mind. That's a pretty deep thought. Just what do you think? Are you suggesting I go see a shrink? I really can't say, but it's often said a lot of our problems are up in our head. That may be true. I'd be the first to agree, but I'd prefer to see an ENT, ear, nose, and throat specialist, ENT, okay. Well, we met to see the doc, and Mom asked the question, can anything be done for my son's congestion? Dr. Judd exclaimed, goodness knows, I've never seen so much crud in a nose. It looks like I'll need the suction pot. This little boy is full of snot, and I know just what I'll do. Why, I'll prescribe a pill or two. But the big nurse screeched, like it or not, let's give that little booger a shot. I darted for the door, but the floor was slick, and that big nurse was really quick. And before I knew it, like it or not, she pinched my behind and gave me a shot. I let out a scream and a tear or two. It was the worst experience I've ever been through.
I love it. I love it. And that's just a sample, and the other play on words is unbelievable. But these books bring out so many different characters of yourself that I can see with zip my lip. Okay. How many times you hear the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and sometimes we should listen instead of talk? That's pretty well what this little book is about. Do you want to share anything briefly about this?
Yeah, this is remember, I love kids. Now this little book, just like all of them, this Zip My Lip Scripture for Kids 3 to 93. And what this does is, I can think like a kid. So this book is this little boy right here, and he is interpreting Scripture. He interprets Scripture, and it really turned out really great.
Okay, so Zip the Lip, I had kind of highlighted and said that it's many lessons waiting to be discovered. Okay, and that it captures and illustrates the Scripture from the child's view. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's sure to leave children honoring God, their Father, with their young lives. And I love that. Okay, now here we come up with, I think we're going to get to the guitar dog. Alrighty, and nope, bird brains we already covered, which was hilarious. Let's talk about guitar dog. Okay, he's definitely a mud of a different color, isn't he? Okay, so when it comes to this little book, what was the main reason for writing Guitar Dog?
Well, I'll say this. Look, everything that I write, it comes to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, it all comes to me. Now, this Guitar Dog came to me in a dream. That's one of the things I talk about in that How to Write a Book, and one of the most important things is to have a tablet or something next to you where you sleep, because things will come to you at night. They'll come to you in your dreams. So when something comes to you, you need to get out of bed, turn the light on, and write down what came to you. Then maybe go back to sleep. But it's very, very important. So anyways,
you're right.
This book,
you're right.
whole thing came to me.
You're right, Dr. Phil, because of the fact that I started putting a tablet by my dresser stand next to the bed, because I'll get up the next morning and go, wait a minute, there's something great, and I didn't write it down, but I've been very blessed to remember, but I started writing it down. And so you're right. Now, you keep saying that you got your ideas through a dream. I had somebody approach me at the Writers Guild, and they asked if I'm sorry, what? Okay, I see someone walking around, so I didn't know if that was me or not. You got it. Okay, 3 minutes. Time passing fast. What I want to say is that the people were asking if, is it really true that some people can be inspired through a dream? And I said, yes, absolutely. And that was before I met you. And then you come behind and start saying how you had automatically, you get your ideas. Yeah, me too. Especially when they're God inspired and they're ideas from God. Now, other people are trying to, well, who's their muse? I hate the word muse. I do. I don't know why. But I guess it's just me.
I don't know what it means. What is muse?
Something that inspires you. Well, if I got to have a muse, it must be God then.
Oh, that's my muse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
I will say something because we just have a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Okay.
Sure.
This is a wonderful lady right here. Wonderful. I mean, she is the real thing, and she helps so many people, and it just. I mean, I love her. Everybody loves her. It's wonderful.
Well, I tell you what, I am so blessed, and that's why I guess God has given me favor with this television show and crew members who want to be a part of it. And I thank you very much for that. So if I am doing the right thing, and you're saying the nice things, and I'm glad to be a part of what God's going to do for you, because of the fact that He knows His plan, and He knows that we're not ashamed to say we are children of God.
Absolutely.
You know, man of God, woman of God. And thank you so much for that. And I always pray, Lord, if anyone comes in contact with me, let them see you and me and not me. Because if they're looking at me, they're looking at the wrong reason. And favor is something that Acadiana Open Channel has been for us. I mean, really, people coming in. And because you've got so many books, I said, Lord, I'm thinking you want to get together with me. We're going to have a meeting, and you're going to be an author that's just starting with a book and getting the first book out there. Took forever for us to get together, and then I find out you got all these books. You got them on ebook. You've got audio books. And I'm like, God, why is He need? What can I do that you haven't done already? And you said just help you market, and I can encourage you. And then right after that, God started opening doors, and you're already booked to do a seminar coming up sometime in January, which they did notify me this morning for us to make our mind up what date, and they want us to get back with them, and we're really blessed and favored with the South Regional Library. And I see the rolling credits coming down.
That's it.
So actually, we're at the end of the show, but you've been watching Louisiana Heartbeats, And my guest today was Dr. Phil D. Myers, who is a children's author, and he has books out there. If you're interested in seeing what he's got, then you can also check out his website, which is gratefultummybooks.com. Otherwise, if you have a story and you want to share it with the community, that's what I'm all about, is sharing your story so other people can help your dreams come true. And who knows, maybe you've got a book that you want it to come true, your dream book. Thanks for watching, and be blessed.
Thank you, Sudie.